Hello, everybody. We are really, really excited that you've all joined us on the Women Inspiring Network. Today's session is being brought to you by Tressmart Marketing, which is, of course, headed by Sargam. And it's going to be a very, very exciting panel discussion where we, of course, going to be rewriting the rules. And today we're going to be talking about body positivity. So they'll tell us about how women are changing their perception towards themselves and accepting all body types. The women of today is now beyond a right fit and a right size. She's more focused on self-love, entrepreneurship skills, achieving financial goals, and being independent. Women Inspiring Network, as you all know, is an inspirational storytelling network that emerged out of the pandemic to connect aspiring women leaders from different walks of life. Now we are a community of more than 7,000 women, and we've got 200 influential women on our platform, 30 million reach, and it's a platform where we create, share, and empower each other. It's a movement to pay it forward. So thank you for joining us, Shamili once again, Neha, and RJ Guinea. So I'm just going to tell you all about Sargam. She's a 27-year-old entrepreneur who started Tressmart in 2017 when she was only 22. She actually had a chance meeting with some of the investors and promoters of Daphne, the original hair straightening brush, and went on to successfully launch this in India. And the rest, they say, is history. She's been actually advocating body positivity in all possible landscapes. RJ Ginny is an ex-journalist turned radio jockey. Ginny is never shy to voice her opinions. She's only jocked to have won 2 golds at New York Festival Radio Awards and has also won the best show and jock for 6 consecutive years for Radio City. That's amazing. Neha Kalia, known as Curves by Neha, is a Delhi-based fashion and lifestyle content creator, body positivity coach, plus size model, and she's collaborated with multiple reputed and renowned brands like Amadeus, Detota, NYKD, Mama Earth, and she's backed a massive fan following on social media platforms. And she actually is really working towards bringing about more awareness on body positivity and is really passionate about dancing. And we have Dr. Shamili Khera. She's a multifaceted speaker, TV presenter, producer, public speaker, and a speaking coach. Born and raised in Mumbai, Shamili has a global exposure and a rich experience of addressing audience in international markets. Having been the face of various television networks like UTV, ZTV, Middle East, MBC, Bollywood, and having studied theater and stage acting and presenting. So I'm going to now ask each one of you to tell me in your own words about your journey. So Sargam, would you like to talk about your own journey and your thoughts on body positivity?
Stuti, you've done a fabulous job in actually telling my journey. I started Tressmart in 2017. We started with just one product, which was Daphne. Then we went on to bring makeup eraser, and then simultaneously we went on to bring style ideas. After which, last year during the pandemic, I converted Tressmart and launched Glow by Tressmart into e-commerce platforms. And last year, we also purchased a Netherlands-based cruelty-free and skincare brand globally called Paul Penders. We shifted manufacturing globally to my hometown in Uttarakhand at my facility. So that's just my journey as an entrepreneur. But as somebody who has always been an advocate for body positivity, I think it actually came about when I was very young. I have always been very, very conscious about my body, and relatives and school and teachers didn't help improving that in any way. So I was always very conscious, and it was only until I think about 5 or 6 years back that I realized that I need to love myself for the way I am. Of course, I try to better myself every day, but it's a journey. So I think for me, body positivity means that loving yourself and always trying to better yourself, but not forgetting that your body does a lot for you, and you are more than what you look outside, more than just your physical appearance.
Your thoughts, Dr. Shamili Khera, on body positivity and your journey?
Well, Suti, thank you for initiating this conversation. I think we're approaching Women's Day, and it is just one of those little reminders that we all need, and women around us need, that it's okay to look the way we are. I think we live in a society that is very influenced by appearance. So there is no doubt that why women feel like that every day. And when we talk about body positivity, it's not just size or shape. It also comes down to skin color, skin tone. A lot of that happens in the Indian market because it's their job to sell it like that. The more they make us doubt ourselves, the more products they sell, and that's just how it works. But having said that, I think past few years I have realized that with the advent of social media and the fact that we all have the opportunity to voice our opinions, I have met a lot of women who prefer to not, for example, socialize if they are not a certain size. I have met women who have decided to let's take a break from work. I'm waiting to I don't feel confident about stepping out of my house right now. And as a confidence coach, I realized that a lot of the way we think of ourselves is also the perceptions that people have about us. So I think before we go into what people perceive us for, we need to kind of change our self-perception and approach body positivity with the fact that whatever size I am, I can step out and head to work. I can step out and do groceries even on a bad hair day. And it's just about how I feel about myself under my skin. So I think with confidence coaching, with interacting with a lot of men and women, while we do have a lot of body conditioning from society, I feel the more we make people comfortable with who they are, the more confidence comes out. So I think that has been now my one of the goals while coaching people.
Lovely. And we'd like to get your thoughts, RJ Ginny. Shall I just call you Ginny?
Yes, my name is Ginny, and I'm very happy to be called Ginny. Thank you. Hi, guys. So I was Googling what is body positivity, and it said that's a social movement focused on the acceptance of all bodies, regardless of size, shape, skin tone, gender, physical abilities, while challenging present-day beauty standards. And I think Dr. Shamili Khera also spoke about how it's a market that's growing, that grows by putting women into a corner, constantly pushing them. But I don't know if it's so much of a market as it's our perception as well of families. I've seen kids, 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds being told by their parents, "Ab to weight lose karna shuru kar do." I mean, a 6-year-old should not be told that. I've seen people turning around and saying that, she needs to look a certain way. I've seen 9-year-olds have huge fights with their mums that I need to get vaccine done because it's not cool, and people say and make fun of what I'm doing out here. I've seen women like us who are relatively successful, not feeling very confident on days, and not just on days, but are constantly thinking about, is my hair right? Is it my makeup fine? Am I supposed to do this? Oh my God. Thinking in our heads, when is our period due? Maybe our face is looking swollen. Can I use ice cubes? I've heard these conversations a million times, and I've heard them from people who weigh 42 kgs, who weigh 50 kgs, who weigh 70 kgs. I have a friend who's perpetually on a diet, and she was perfect 7 years ago. She's perfect now. And I also hate the fact that all of us look back at our pictures 3 years back and think, oh my God, we looked so perfect then. And at that day, if you think of that day, you remember how terrible you were feeling. So I think it's a mix of measures. It's not just what the outward world is showing us. We've grown up with a sense of perception. Our mothers are constantly talking about it. Our relatives, our friends, everybody, and more or less, I think we've become so used to constantly judging ourselves that it's pathetic. And I honestly don't know how does this change completely, because I'd love to believe that there will be a day where everything will change, but I think it's one step at a time. And this whole thing about accepting yourself, I think is very tough. I mean, there are days I do radio. I've been relatively very successful at radio. And 4 years ago, when the social media boom came and we were told that you have to constantly make videos, you have to constantly expose yourself on Instagram, I was like, but dude, I didn't sign up for that. I was Joey in Friends. I had a perfect face for radio, whatever you say. But I see that how much it affects us all, but it doesn't matter. And I think that that's a conversation we need to have. What I'm feeling today, possibly Sargam is looking at me and saying that she's dumb to think that why does she not want to do more videos? And Neha is actually propagating that body type and saying that, dude, what is wrong with you? Whoever said that this is a perfect body type, I think we need to have these conversations more with ourselves, more with our friends, more with the people we're associating with every day, that you're perfect. It doesn't matter. 5 kgs up and down will not matter, because 5 kgs down also you'll be thinking, hi, 3 kilo aur kam ho jate. Hi, mere face mein ye kyun aa gaya? I wish my jawline was more perfect. I was looking at Dr. Shamili, honestly, and I'm feeling a little upset about this. I was looking at your jawline and thinking, how does one get there? It's a never ending struggle. So let's face it, we like to look good, but I think we need to just accept ourselves and possibly be happy with who we are, because I think happy faces glow a different way. And that's what we need to send across to ourselves more than anybody else. I always
Lovely.
speak too
And
much.
Neha, your thoughts?
Hello, everyone. Well, it was amazing listening to everybody here. Okay, so body positivity, what Guinea said, that particular definition from Google, that's about it. The idea is that we all forget that definition. Google has helped us in explaining that body positivity is just respecting everybody, but we forget it. And then we say, but if I do this, I'll be respected more. No, it doesn't work that way. You will be respected. You have to be respected the way you look. Now, the journey of what you're doing for yourself, that's self-love. That's a separate thing, and we need to work on it a little later. But right now, it's about how you feel about yourself and how you feel about others. Now, I understand when we say that accepting yourself every time is not very easy. Some days you feel low, and at every moment, we are a social animal and we need validations every then and now, and the day is made when someone says, oh, you look amazing. What, have you been losing weight? And even if I advocate for body positivity, I still feel that when that compliment comes to me, I am like a little jumpy inside. But that will happen. That's normal. Having said that, anyone who's talking about body positivity, I personally think we need to understand that just talking about it is not important. We need to use that particular thing every day, every moment of our life. So when I am of a bigger body, and that's why I keep on telling every woman that it's okay. Please do wear whatever you want. Don't wait for the day when you lose that. But if at the second moment I tell somebody, or maybe somebody who has a darker skin, and say, why don't you use that particular contouring, or why don't you do this and you look much more, that's very shallow of me, because just because I have a lighter shade and she doesn't, and I say this, and the next moment I'm saying that you should wear whatever you want. No. So basically the concepts are flawed in our own mind, and practicing this every day is important. डेफिनेशन तो हम बहुत बार बोल देंगे, बट कितना हम उस डेफिनेशन पे वर्क कर रहे हैं is what I believe is important.
So Sonalika has just joined us. Hi, Sonalika. So we have Shamili, Sargam, Neha, and Ginny here with us. So Sonalika, I think I'm going to ask you my next question. So we're talking, of course, about body positivity, and you've been a model yourself. And have you, in your industry, faced any sort of preconceived notion about people talking about body image, and with the social media, everybody is now talking about how one should look perfect. So I want you to throw some light in your journey where you've seen people talking about body image, body and body issues, and what has been your take on it? We can't hear you.
Can you hear me now? Sorry. Yeah. Sorry for being late, firstly. And I was actually in the middle of a fitting. We've got Fashion Week started all over again. So it's March is a hectic month. And thank you for having me. It's a very interesting topic that we've picked today. And yes, being of fitness is pretty high, especially because, being a ramp model, when you have to be out there, garments have to fit in a certain way. So designers do expect you to be of a certain frame. So yes, fitness expectation is very high, I'd say. But these days, with a whole new way, acceptance and body positivity. A lot of people who are walking with us on the ramp, we are trying to get all different shapes and sizes. And it's not just happening in India, it's happening internationally, it's happening everywhere. So yes, that's a very, very good change that I see in my industry at the moment. But yeah, but also, you know, for me, because I've been in this industry for so long, and also even before I was a model, you know, I had very high sort of fitness expectation from myself, and I actually quite like working out. So yeah, I maintain a certain frame that I am. So that's what it is.
And this question I'm actually throwing to everybody. So what, according to you all, has been this new trend, or there's much more awareness of women being more acceptable about their appearances? So I know earlier people used to stereotype that, you know, from a skin color to a certain body frame. And now that you've talked about it, Sonalika, but how do you feel, like, is there more acceptance? And, you know, I'm just throwing it to everybody here, like, we'd like to discuss on that. Sarvam, you want to
Okay, yeah,
start?
I'll start. So I do feel there is a little bit of more acceptance, but I'm not sure that we're there yet. As we are, I think still we have a long, long way to go until there's complete acceptance. For example, you know, in the beauty industry, all the photo shoots that happen, everything that happens, you know, there are very, very few brands who will include all skin tones, all shapes and sizes. You know, there are very few that go ahead and do that because they feel that a certain person looking a certain will be perceived better for their brand, or you know, they will get better results if they're looking a certain way. So acceptance in terms of complete industry, I think we're very, very far from. And even in our own houses, or you know, with our friends, there are, I mean, I have seen people mocking somebody else behind their back and saying, oh, you know, she's put on so much weight, or she lost so much weight, or her hair is so thin. So I think we're far from it. We need to, I think, learn to be kinder to ourselves, kinder to other people, because I think what we wouldn't like happening to us, we shouldn't do to other people. And I have had conversations where when I tell people about body positivity, you know, they'll come and tell me you're promoting being unhealthy, or you're promoting being a certain way, which I always say I am not trying to do that. Every single day you work to be better, like I said, but accept yourself for who you are and accept somebody else for who they are. You know, so I think there's also this flawed notion that if you're advocating body positivity, you're trying to say that, okay, it's okay to be unhealthy, it's okay to not be fit. But I think loving yourself and being fit are two very different things. And I'm sure everybody here every single day is trying to make themselves better in whatever way they can. So I think we are still very, very far from acceptance, and things really need to change, especially in the beauty industry and at our homes and with our friends.
Ginny, your thoughts?
No, things haven't changed. And I mean, when we talk about the fashion industry, there was this whole controversy recently that even for anything beyond an XL size, they charge different money.
Yes.
So, I mean, that was one of the biggest things. So obviously things haven't changed. When you look at women who are plus size on the ramp, they're used more as exceptions to prove a point that we are inclusive, and they're used for a certain perception of the brand, as opposed to being a part of everybody who's walking the ramp. I mean, there's a huge difference. It's not the same thing. So yes, it absolutely hasn't changed. I don't think being fit has anything to do, I'm sorry, about a body type, because plump people can also be fit. It's not that you need to have a certain frame and only a lean frame is necessarily very fit. A lean frame at times can be very unhealthy. It's not that. So that, I think there's a perception that anybody who's 42 kgs is also looked down upon. I mean, there are people working in my office who are that, and everybody's looking at them constantly and saying, "Tum kuch khate nahi ho," or you know, the jokes that, "Oh, you will just blow away. Be careful." So it's not about thin or fat. No, I think that's one thing that we need to remove from this discussion. It's not a certain frame. It's not a lean frame. It's not fat people. It's not thin people. It's about just being okay with who you are, and that is an acceptance that needs to come from within more than anybody else. Because the day you realize that you're okay with yourself, I think we're more okay accepting people the way they are. I think because we're constantly cringing about our own selves, it's easier to pass comments on others in weddings or at office, or to make comments because somewhere we're looking for that validation. And maybe this one line needs to be removed from every conversation. You're looking thin. I swear to God, over the last 10 years, every time I meet anybody, they're like, oh, you've lost weight. I'm like, what was I, a balloon? Because by that logic also, I should have disappeared by then. It's not possible. So I think to make good with people or to make them smile, we always use this, remove it. You're looking nice. You're looking very pretty. You're looking happy. You're looking gorgeous. Great. I think certain things we need to just, move away from.
Can I join in? Okay.
Yeah, please, Neha.
Just to what Ginny said about size inclusivity and all that, and the whole fashion industry talking about it, it is very, see, I certainly believe that, let's be honest to ourselves. So if a particular brand says that, I'm sorry, I cannot make or design or produce or manufacture clothes beyond this size, fine, be okay with it. We are okay with it. But then don't call yourself size inclusive and all that. Please, let's not. And when, a XL girl who's tall enough and not even looking XL is walking on the ramp and showing that we are size inclusive, I'm sorry, it's a fake thing. Please do not believe in it. I'm sure Sonalika will also agree to it. I mean, when we talk about plus size, XL is not even plus size. So let's just talk about the real world out there. If you are making clothes for somebody who is a 5XL, I might say that, yes, you have come into that particular frame. And when they say that if we'll put 2 kalis extra in the lehenga, we'll charge you another 20,000. I mean, excuse me, when you're putting 2 kalis less, are you doing minus 20,000? So all this is all so fake. I mean, let's just agree. If you can't make it, tell it.
Yeah, I have to kind of put a point through here as well. You just said, not you, the person who spoke before you said that, it's gimmicky to get people on ramp who are claiming that they are plus size. I feel it's no, it's not really gimmicky anymore. I think people are really seriously working towards it, especially throughout my industry when it comes to designers. Abu Sandeep have had people of all shapes and sizes. Gaurav Gupta have had people all shapes of sizes, and they're seriously working towards body positivity. They are not just creating a gimmick or trying to gain extra mileage out of social media or anything. It's something that we are actually very, very serious about, and it's everywhere. But yes, having said that, the second part of it, what you're talking about of XL, anything beyond XL, certain designers are charging. I would like to also say that at some point, I remember a long time back when I was maybe like in school or something, if I would go for waxing, the beauty parlor girls used to say, your leg is very long, maybe we should charge you extra for long leg waxing. So it has been around us, like all sorts of judgment, all sorts of, different thoughts have been around. It's not just about being short, tall, fat, slim, thin. Women have been, pushed into this corner where we have to listen to all sorts of, judgments around us. And it's great that we are trying to break from it. But yes, we from our industry, I can really definitely vouch and say fashion industry is doing a lot towards this. Definitely, we are trying to change the frame, the mindset, the thought process that we are perceived with thin people, we are perceived with a certain frame of people. No, we are not. We are trying to definitely break from that. And a lot of people are very seriously working towards it.
I totally agree with what Sonalika is saying. That's the whole point of this discussion, is like even the media is talking about it. And at least we're talking about the subject. What does body positivity mean? So that shows that, gradually we are moving towards a change in mindset and not really stereotyping how we've all been brought up by. So Dr. Shamili, I have a question for you, which is, what is your perception on body positivity? And I know you're a motivational speaker also. So how would you ask people to work towards it? Like if someone comes to you and talks about it, how are you addressing the issue?
So, Stuti, first, I'm in agreement with everything what most of them said earlier about the fact that I feel social media is becoming acceptable about different sizes. I feel we are very encouraging when we see someone online who we don't know, flaunting and being comfortable with their weight. We are very in awe of their confidence. But when it is someone from a family, I've seen where families are still nagging their daughters about achieving a certain weight, a certain color, your marriageable age. And I'm seeing this with my friends, and it's discomforting even when I'm trying to have the conversation with the mothers that compatibility is what you should be asking her to work on instead of these other things. But it's just a mindset that we all have, that our package should be the most perfect, and that's something that I think will take a generation or two to work on. Having said that, I think body positivity is also I think step 2 away for someone to just say, embrace who you are is a very strong emotion. We cannot just push someone to start loving or liking themselves very immediately when they are struggling with their own body perception issues. So I think this is a concept that I also spoke about earlier with Sargam in one of our last chats, which is called body neutrality, which means that first you develop a neutral attitude towards your body, which you look at as a carriage of, carrying you through life. Actually, what is your body doing? Your body is helping you live. Your body is helping you hug people, express love. It's taking you to supermarkets, helping you travel. It's waking you up every day, working out for you. It's doing some amazing things. So when we start looking at the body as just a medium to do what you want to do or express yourself, you are releasing yourself from all these perceptions that are coming outward in. So we need to start working inward out. And when people start looking at body neutrality as something that it's okay, this is just who I am healthy. See, we're not talking about healthy now. When we want to judge healthy, it should be only with body mass index, which is a medical form of judging. Like someone said earlier, you can be skinny and unhealthy, and you can look a certain size and still be healthy. So we cannot judge people's health quotient by just looking at them. So BMI is the only way we can judge someone's body health. No one's chachas or buas have any right to comment on that. And we anyways don't have any authority to comment on anyone's weight. I don't know, it's such a personal, intimate space. It's like saying, when are you going to have your next baby? When are you going to get married? When are you, planning your second baby? I mean, these are very intimate. It's my body. I have not given you the authority to comment on this. I am here to have a conversation with you. So I think we need to sensitize people about this, number one. And second, we need to start working individually on people just looking at the concept of body neutrality, and then maybe take them to embracing who they really are and body positivity.
I'm really glad, Dr. Shamili, you addressed that. So I have a 5-year-old and I've never been able to lose the last 5 kgs, and I'm always wondering what to do. And, so that is one of those things.
Yeah, we have to be very careful with how we also speak in front of them. I'm seeing this with my 5-year-old daughter as well. We walked into a supermarket and I was, buying some skin. I've stopped buying skin creams in front of her because I don't know if I'm sending the message that I'm looking to become prettier. I just buy because, we all like to take care, but I don't know what message that's sending her. And she was standing in one of these aisles and she said, Mama, I want you to become this skin color. And it was 2 tones brighter than me. And when that happened, and I took her aside and I said, we all have great skin colors. We all have amazing bodies. And I just hammered this into her head. And after that, I've never taken her to any kind of, beauty shopping with me because it's too soon. I don't know what subconscious message she's grabbing with that action of me. And even if, let's say, I'm, picking a regular sunscreen, there will be a salesperson who will sneakily come and be like, Madam, you take this, it's good for dark spots. And Madam, this is very good for your scars. And she is listening to all this. So I'm like, she's not accompanying me at any of these trips because you don't know what they are picking up. So I agree with you.
And now this question is going to be common to everybody. How is body positivity connected to mental as well as physical well-being? Your thoughts? Who would like to start first?
I'll start. For somebody who has, like I said, I've been very conscious about my body, and it was actually a point of bullying in school for me. So I think after the point it started, it was actually mental torture. When you're especially when you're so young, you don't understand what's happening. I would cry and I would keep crying, and my mom would tell me that I've actually heard things like that. Okay, then why don't you try and lose some weight if you're feeling bad about it? But sometimes it's beyond your control. Sometimes you're trying very hard, but it's not happening. Sometimes there's something else going on. So I think body positivity is totally related to your mental well-being, because for me personally, because I've gone through it, my mental well-being went for a toss. I wouldn't want to go out, I wouldn't want to talk to people, I wouldn't want to go shopping because the shopkeeper would say aapka size to nahi hai, and I would feel so bad, I would cry again. So actually I was only crying because all the time wherever I would go, I would only hear this. So I thought the easiest way out is that let me not talk to people, let me not go out, let me just stop buying new clothes. And mentally I would go on, like I would only eat curd for like 10 days, that okay, now I will lose weight, I will only eat curd. So the next party I go for, somebody will come and tell me, oh, you've lost a little bit of weight. So I think it became a very unhealthy pattern, physically and mentally both. So I think till like Dr. Shamoli said, that till you are at least accepting of who you are, it can be a it's like a spiral down. And I've been through that a spiral where I am like, I will go on a crash diet, then I eat, then I gain 3 kgs because I've not eaten for like this thing, then I start crying, then I'm mentally very upset about it, I don't want to talk to anybody, I'd also become very irritable, because and also I stopped talking to my friends or family, because I would feel every time I would meet them, I would be waiting that, I'd be waiting that when they'll make a comment about my weight. It actually became like I would meet somebody and wait, ki, acha, now in the next 5 minutes, they're going to say, in the next 10 minutes, they're going to say, or they're going to tell my mother who's going to come back home and tell me they made a statement about me. So it's a spiral, and it's very, very torturous physically and mentally both.
Your thoughts, Ginny?
Sargam, I'm very sorry. Nobody deserves to go through that. Honestly, nobody deserves to go through that. And unfortunately, a lot of us go through that for a variety of reasons. It just doesn't make sense. Of course, it affects your mental health. It's with you 24/7. You can't get rid of how you look, or if you're feeling negative about something, it's not something you can get rid of because your face is constantly with you. It's not out of sight, out of mind. It's always inside. But having said that, your question was, does it affect mental health? Of course it affects mental health. I mean, there's no denial of that. There has to be more positivity coming in. And I think that, again, the only people who are going to hold you up are people around you. I think it's very essential also at times that if you're feeling like this, and a lot of times they feel like they're being well-meaning about it, you should actually go out and tell them that this is how it affects me. And that's very essential. You need to tell people that this is how it affects me. And if you claim to like me, or you claim to be friends with me or my family, you're actually screwing it up for me further and pushing me into a negative zone. I mean, it's about people who are a darker shades. It's about people who are aging. It's about people who are not confident. There's a person I know who limps, and oh my God, the complexes she's lived with. Just so unfair. And everybody else who's trying to tell her is constantly being well-meaning. Also, the comments that you read, I mean, social media has really killed it. For every one comment, you could be talking about world peace, you could be talking about the Ukraine war, you could be talking about how beautiful the birds are today. The comment will be, oh, moti lag rahi hai, oh, ye lag rahi hai. And, it's human tendency. If I tell you 5 good things about you and 1 negative thing, you will hold on to that negative thing. I know that we're supposed to change that, but all of us do that. That 1 negative comment will keep haunting you. So yeah, it does. I mean, I don't know.
Anyone else's thought on this?
It's about not taking the positivity inside you and just concentrating on the negativity and the negative people. Also, I think it always happens with a lot of people. I don't know if Shamili will agree with me or not. She'll be able to answer on this, that one person who's criticizing us, that one person who's saying negative about us, we are always waiting for his validation. I don't know why that happens. Somehow the 10 people who are saying good about me, are friendly to me, are nice to me, matlab unki to baaton ko main ignore kar deti hu, and I'm just waiting for that one person because I have to prove myself to that one person. Firstly, that race needs to stop. I mean, you don't have to prove yourself to anybody. And when I get comments like this, that whenever I do something on my my page and people do not talk about or do not read even the captions and just say, comment on this and say nasty things and all that. So my idea is always the first thing that I do is blocking such people. I think the moment I start eradicating negative thoughts and negative people from my life is when I'll be able to live in a positive world. I know that's not positive, that's not possible 100%, but at least I can try doing that for my mental
I
peace.
completely agree.
In fact, I want to ask a question which you should add to it, Dr. Shamili, which is, so after all of you've been successful in your respective field, so now that we've discussed it affects women, on their mental being, where do you think the real issue lies and how can we help women deal better? If you can add that part on your answer.
I completely agree with the earlier conversation also that we were having. It is, I think we are already being a part of that solution. The fact that we are talking about it, we are putting out our insecurities and sharing that how we have overcome them. Each of these women here have overcome their securities, and that's why we are, talking about how we've left that in the past. And I'm sure any woman who's listening to this will realize that it's just a part. It's just appearance is really just a part of you. It's not who you are. But the fact that today the messages that the world is receiving, that someone who looks a certain way in Bollywood or in the media industry has millions of followers, what is the message that people are receiving? Oh, if you look like that, you will be popular. And what is social media? What is validation? Social media is an extension of validation. There has been research that every time we go back and we see extra likes, comments, or anything, followers, the pleasure areas in our brain light up, which means that we are receiving a lot of pleasure. It's the same area that lights up when we eat food, when we have sex, when we do all of the pleasurable activities. So can you imagine that's the level of pleasure that we are receiving from that kind of external validation? So yes, it exists. And each of us reacts differently. So since Ginny commented earlier on my jawline, it has not always been like that. So I have, yes, been a presenter, and I've had much more control over the way I look and, diets and all of that. But post motherhood, there was this phase where obviously I put on, and the jawline had nicely disappeared somewhere. And so I'm a Punjabi, but I've never looked like one apparently. But someone in those few months when I had become like that said, "Ab to barabar Punjaban lag rahi hai." And I don't know how to take that. It was like someone just like jolted cold water on my face. I was like, was that a compliment or should I be worried? Like what? Because I was not aware at that time. I was so busy in motherhood. I'm so busy looking after the baby. I had, by the way, I think subconsciously I might have known that I look different now because I was suddenly not posting on social media. I was doing a lot of throwbacks, and now I am trying to, understand why did I do that? Why did I not just post how I looked that day, how bad I felt that day? Which is why I really appreciate women who, even on bad days, are sharing, or even the way they look on certain days are putting it out. Because I realized I didn't have the courage. I said, so what? I don't need to share everything on social media. It's my private life. And that time you have all these conversations that you're in your head that you're like, this is my personal moment. I'm not going to share it. So I went through all of that, and obviously because it affected me, there was this dual conversation where I said I should be okay. And I said, I also want to get back to who I was. I did not, get rid of any of my clothes that I had pre-mothered. I said, I want to fit into them one day. So that's like my way of working on my motivation. And the fact that I was on a certain journey, like Sargam said, every day you want to get better. And for me, it was like coming back a full circle. So I think coming back to your question, Sati, only conversing about it is the only way, and interrupting women when they make comments like that, like Ginny rightly said, you look pretty, making comments that are not shape oriented. We don't need to say, oh, you look thin or you have lost weight, are not compliments. We can go on something else which just makes, oh, you look spirited, or you look like you're having fun. Like, why not? So I think interrupting
having a positive connotation. I agree.
And a positive, yeah, absolutely.
Sonalika, your thoughts in your, how it affects the mental being, and how can we help other women out there, deal with it better?
So Suti, in my industry, I'm initially, I think, as I said, it's changing now. It is somewhere where we are constantly judged. It is not something, it's a part of the job to constantly be, there was auditions when you were made to stand there, and it's not just happening here. It's happened in Milan, it's happened in China, in Singapore, everywhere, where they just make you stand in a line. And if you don't fit that particular frame or something, they'd ask you to leave. And there are girls as young as 17, 18 years, and they're going through all this judgment about what they look like and how they are, their body type. And, it always has been very damaging. I have always experienced it. And right from the beginning, I used to find it very annoying about this industry, that it's been extremely damaging, mentally, very stressful for people. A lot of people I've seen struggling, trying to, literally just eat as somebody just said, eating curd, eating very little, trying to fit in, trying to be the same frame. So yes, it was earlier a very, very stressful industry to be a part of. Thankfully, as social media has kind of brought it out there, and as people are trying to just be themselves, and they're still being accepted, it's changed a lot of things here as well. World over, it's changing. Victoria's Secret has changed its brand ambassadors to real women, to women who have achieved. It's not just about how they look and what their frame is like. They've actually brought in people who are of different frames and sizes, or different people who've really achieved, who are really comfortable in their skin. They've brought in those kind of brand ambassadors, so which is fabulous, which is very, very good. So when it comes to how to help people feel good about their body, sadly I do feel that we still send out a wrong message, and it's kind of getting a very like two extremes. Shruti, I'd actually like to bring that out now. I feel that sometimes now what is happening is, if you are of a certain frame, like as I said, I have fitness goals for myself. So I do aspire to be fit. Sometimes that becomes now it's kind of bouncing back onto me. Like people are, trying to put it on certain people, saying that, oh, you are projecting this perfect frame out there, and that's why people aspire for that, and that is how you're negatively impacting a lot of people. While I feel that that's not what we are trying to do. What I try to do, like even in my apartment for that matter, I actually, like if it's somebody who's out there, or my friend or everyone, I actually notice that now slowly in my gym and everywhere outside, outdoor activities, everyone's getting more conscious about their fitness, about coming out. And fitness can be in all shapes and sizes. It doesn't have to be like a particular shape and size, as somebody had brought it up earlier. So yeah, I think the positivity of trying to get somebody else to accept their bodies, it will happen with time. It is something that is not going to happen very, very quickly, because women are constantly subjected to all sorts of judgments, as I said earlier. So it will happen, but yes, we are working towards it slowly, and I hope that we don't send out any more wrong messages from our industry, and we are working very, very diligently towards it.
And Ginny, I would like to ask you something. You don't have to name anyone, but you've of course interviewed some of the celebrities and established personalities who have faced challenges with their body type. How common have you seen it while you're doing shows and other things, people talking about the subject?
I've actually never seen somebody who's very, very comfortable. Either we get very brazen about it. And, when somebody was talking right now, I was remembering. So I was watching this show on TV, which has come, and it's very hyped about. It's called Fame Game. It's got Madhuri Dixit in it. She looks gorgeous. In that show, they're constantly showing how, so we've been just talking about the way we look, right? There's also another point about aging. In that, she's constantly talking about how scared she is of aging, how every time a movie poster comes, people are ready to write her off, to say that, you're 40, so you should almost be dead. I remember there was a heroine when we were all growing up who said after 30, women should never be seen again, because you've lost your charm and you should not be there in the public eye. So I've actually very few women I've met who are very, very comfortable with their skin, and I see with slightly older generations. I haven't seen that much in the younger group. I speak to a lot of 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds, because I do a lot of book reviews and clubs with them. And no, whatever size, and I realize that as much as I think it's better to have these conversations, because you realize nobody is happy with the way they look. So very rarely. And when actors come to interview, they're all very poised, they know. But if you read their comments on Instagram, like Dr. Shamili said that, oh, they'll get 1 million comments, and I'm sure Neha also gets that. You will always find snide remarks, and even Deepika Padukone. I mean, she just did Geraya, and the way she was called out for wearing clothes, for wearing a bikini, the way she looked. Oh my God, you look so old as compared to Ananya Pandey. I was like, dude, it's Deepika Padukone. If she's hearing it also, it's terrible. So there's no one person who sort of gets to not be a party on this. Everybody's welcome. Everybody's JLOing it.
I agree with Guinea. I was interviewing Noura Fatehi on a red carpet. Now we all know what a gorgeous woman she is. She performed for one of these Middle East awards and she blew the stage away. And right after the performance, she quickly changed and came down for the red carpet interview. And I said, Noura, you were dazzling. It was an amazing performance. How did you prepare? It's like, I hope I was okay. I was not so sure about it. Was it fine? I was like, wait a second. Like someone, like, you, like Ginny rightly said, we feel that everyone up there has got it together, but everyone has their own doubts because their standards keep changing. So she probably has put her standards somewhere else or her own expectations. So everyone is trying to figure how they look.
And Neha, I have this question for you, and then we have one last question coming up for everyone. So Neha, you've of course created your platform, and what led you to create this platform, and have you come across women and have you helped them, and in what way have you helped them, about your platform?
So I have been a confident girl from the very beginning, that I can say about myself. But then there were a lot of hurdles in between. So sometimes I used to think when people used to say that, are you mad doing this? Are you mad performing with that size? I am a dancer. I've learned belly dancing also and all that. And I love to do it. Even with the big belly, I want to shake it and I shake it really well. Then a lot of smaller bellies. I particularly say that. But then people have been telling, and sometimes my confidence has been termed as overconfident. You're very overconfident, you should not be doing that. And I've heard all that nonsense in my life, and even from my family also. I mean, till date, my mother, yesterday I was going for a function and she asked me, what are you wearing? And I said, I'm wearing that particular outfit. So वो वाला क्यों नहीं पहनती, उसमें थोड़ी कम मोटी लगती है. आज भी अब मैं इतनी, I've grown up, I've come to this age, but still she is still doing this. And whenever she feels that मैंने और ज़्यादा weight put on कर लिया, आज 2 रोटी कम खा. So I said 2 रोटी कम खाने से क्या फर्क पड़ जाएगा? It will not make a difference. So the confidence has been there, but then how to put that confidence and on my work and all that. So that's something I started a couple of years back, that I want to show people that if I'm confident in a certain way, that doesn't mean I don't have fears. I have that. And the idea is to fight your own fears. Nobody is going to come and help you for that. Even if you're waiting for good validations, even if you're waiting for people to say you good things, that also will not make a difference. It's you who has to stand up for yourself. One is that. Second is that when I started doing these things on social media, and I started styling myself with whatever I want to wear, from bikini to whatever covered thing, from what I'm wearing today also and all that, I have been criticized and I have been complimented both. So the idea is that there are females coming up to me and saying that maybe your maybe the kind of group you go into, the girls around you are wearing such clothes, so it's easy for you to do. I said, no, it's not like that. If those girls around me are comfortable doing it, the moment they see me wearing the same kind of outfit, they make faces, because according to them, only their body type is allowed to wear those outfits and all that. So my journey always have been, and I have been talking to so many females on daily basis, and every time tell them that, listen, this is my journey. I can only tell you my journey. I can only tell you what I am doing, but don't make my journey as your journey. You have to create it for yourself. You have to work on yourself, and it is you only who will be able to find the difference in you. So I can just tell that how. So just wear your confidence and go ahead and wear anything else you want to. Even if you don't want to wear anything else, nobody's going to say anything to you. So that's particularly simple that I'm trying to do.
So we're sort of reaching the end of our session because we have very limited time. So I'm just going to throw one last question to everybody, and let's keep it very crisp. So has social media made it more difficult or more easy to cope with this issue, like in terms of spreading awareness about body positivity, or there is a lot of misinformation out there? And what can be our winning message to our audience who's listening out there? Like any tips for our audience, anything inspiring, because that's what Women Inspiring Network is all about. So who'd like to go first?
Can I just say this one line here? Ki, tell to stop looking at people's pictures and saying they are so happy, they're having so much fun. Please, it's fake. A lot of times there are places where maybe I'm getting very bored, but I post 2 pictures and people are thinking, oh my God, she's rocking the party. I'm sorry, that doesn't happen. So that is one thing that people should realize, that, everything is not true out there, even if it is my page or anyone else's page. So I don't know, maybe anyone else who wants to talk about it.
And do you want to leave a winning message for the audience, Neha? An inspiring message?
Well, the inspiring message is, one, you cannot keep everybody happy. So please stop thinking about everyone else around you, even your family also. Just think about yourself first. And it's not being selfish. It's about, if you are happy, that's when you'll be able to spread happiness around. That's about it.
Who'd like to go next? Sargam?
In terms of social media, I think I'd just like to say that it's a mix of both. It's not helped, or it's not been all bad. Of course, you see people coming out, you get the confidence, but at the same time, you're putting yourself out there, so you have to be ready for all sort of people. So I think it's a 50-50. It's how you take it. And as for a winning message, I'll just, more than anything, I'll just say, be kind to yourself, to other people. Don't say things to other people that you wouldn't like said to yourself.
Sonalika?
I think there is only one message that I'd like to give to everyone through your platform. I'd like to say, just be comfortable in your skin. When it comes to social media, I think it is getting very, very hectic right now for everybody. There is a lot of good message that is going out. Also, there's a lot of trolling. There's a lot of negative message that is going out. So I think don't make that your life. Just make your own decisions and just live life the way you like to live it, and be comfortable in your skin.
Ginny, what would you like to say?
I think social media has made it a little more complicated because you're constantly going to put up pictures. It's worked well for a lot of people because you're putting up so many pictures. I think that also makes you start accepting yourself. It's only the first 10 days that you'll be like, no. Then you know that you have to do it. You start, I think, becoming a little more accepting. And the message I want to give is something that I say to everybody, regardless of how you look, gender, anything, is that your USP is your uniqueness. Everybody is unique, and social media makes you realize it. There are so many people who've got different lives. You're not going to be able to ape anybody. I think you're perfect the way you are. You're unique the way you are. Will you have a little bit of insecurities? Yes, it's human, but please talk about it. Talk about it. Maybe it'll make you feel better. Forget making anybody else feel better. This conversation definitely made me feel better about me, about how I put pictures, about how I perceive things. And this despite the fact that I thought that, I have it under control. So really conversations help, and just, we're unique. That's it.
Lovely. And Dr. Shamili Khera?
I think social media has been like a double-edged sword, because honestly, we wouldn't be having this conversation if it wasn't for this photo sharing app that has, changed the way people look at themselves. They now look at themselves from outward in. We are looking at Insta-worthy restaurants and Insta-worthy outfits when we are buying or going. So it has changed that. But having said that, I think this is becoming a very look conscious generation, because it's not like intelligence or wittiness is going viral because of Twitter. We are still talking about how we look. So why has that not happened? Having said that, I think the one winning message that I'd want to give women is, people are going to remember you mostly for what you did and how you made others feel, and not so much for how you looked back in the day. So I don't think that even matters in the long run as much as it just matters to us for our own confidence. So as long as we make our peace with it, we are good to rule.
Lovely. On that note, I'd like to thank you all to be part of our session on the Women Inspiring Network. And it's in association with Tressmart. And we're really, really glad to spread the message about body positivity on International Women's Day. So thank you once again for joining us. And it was really, really pleasure. And I hope we all have learned something from this conversation today.
Absolutely. Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much.
Thank you,
Thank
Sudhi.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
you.
Thank you.